Do you know how much affection the Yao Lao has for Xiao Yan? He truly treats Xiao Yan as his own son. Picking up from the last chapter, the soul halls Hun Yu, in an attempt to kill Xiao Yan, actually used a spatial scroll to summon an elder in gray and white from the Soul Clan. He slowly stepped out from the crack and said, "Hun Yu, I didn't expect that even you couldn't deal with that boy from the Xiao clan." Hearing the elder's words, Hun Yu's brows furrowed, and then he looked coldly at Xiao Yan and said, "Otherwise, the spatial scroll wouldn't have been necessary. He has been cultivating in the Bodhi tree for a month. His strength has reached the peak of the 9-turn Do Zun, and he also has the Bodhi seed in his possession. If we want to keep him here, we must have you step in." Upon hearing this, the old man from the Guyu clan was also slightly taken aback, and immediately turned his gaze to Xiao Yan and said, "I didn't expect that this young man still has such a fate." Gu Qingyang also had a gloomy expression and said angrily, "These scoundrels have actually summoned a strong member from the clan." He immediately took out the scroll and crushed it quickly, but no spatial crack was formed. Sooner shook her head and explained softly, "The space has been sealed by the celestial phoenix phantom summoned by Jufeng." Guyu said hoarsely, "My name is Guyu. After being promoted to half-do Shang, I prefer others to call me Guyu Saint." "Well, the introduction is over. Young man of the Xiao clan, would you like to come back to the Soul clan with me, or try to fight first?" Hearing this, Xiao Yan's face was cold and said to Sooner, "Can you hold him off for a while?" Hearing Xiao Yan's words, Sooner nodded gently, and then appeared in front of Xiao Yan, and the colorful clan mark on her forehead quickly appeared. "Be careful," Xiao Yan reminded softly, and then quickly retreated, waving his hands, and 5 flames appeared in front of him. Obviously, Xiao Yan has realized that to defeat Guyu Saint, he must use his strongest means. Guyu said, "Are you going to fuse the heavenly flames again? I'm very curious. Is the power of your fused heavenly flames really as terrifying as the rumors say?" Then his gaze fell on Sooner not far away and said with a smile, "Although you are known as the person with the most perfect bloodline of the Gu clan, you are far from my opponent now." As soon as his voice fell, his figure suddenly disappeared in a strange way. Seeing this, Sooner's face changed slightly, and she quickly retreated, and then her palm wrapped in golden flames patted the space fiercely. The figure of Guyu Saint appeared. His arm rotated like a venomous snake, and finally collided heavily with Sooner's palms, only to see that Guyu Saint's body did not move, but Sooner hummed and retreated several steps. When the last step was stable, Sooner quickly stabilized her posture. Her hands crossed and pushed forward, and the complex seal was woven between her fingers. With the change of her handprint, the dazzling golden flame rose like the sun. The Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame ranked fourth on the list of heavenly flames. Guyu said, "I didn't expect that you little girl can actually tame it. It is said that this heavenly flame can burn Do Qi. Today, I will witness with my own eyes whether it is as powerful as the rumors say." As Guyu Saint's voice fell, the skull cane in his hand suddenly sprayed a rich black fog, quickly condensing into a huge black skull, nearly 1,000 feet in size. Facing the astonishing skull attack, a huge golden flame ring burst out from Sooner's body and collided head-on with the bone palm of the black skull. When the two collided, a sharp cry immediately erupted, and the white fog produced by the convergence of extreme cold and extreme heat quickly spread. Guyu Saint's palm gently grasped, and the huge bone palm of the skull also tightly grasped, and then came the sound of clicking, and the golden flame ring was crushed and dissipated, saying, "Little girl, if you can be promoted to half-do Shang, today's victory or defeat is still unknown." Hearing this, Sooner's lips were slightly lifted, and she said softly, "But it's a pity. I'm not going to compete with you. My task has been completed." After speaking, her figure quickly retreated, and in an instant, she appeared behind Xiao Yan, and at this time, a lotus flower as exquisite as an art piece was slowly rotating in Xiao Yan's palm, and a destructive atmosphere was quietly spreading, causing the surrounding space to twist violently. Looking at the lotus flower in Xiao Yan's hand, Guyu's hoarse voice came out again. "This is the lotus after the fusion of the heavenly flames? I have given you so much time. I hope you will not let me down." For Guyu Saint's hoarse voice, there was also a sneer on Xiao Yan's face. "Rest assured, I will not let you down. Sooner, step back a bit." Xiao Yan flicked his fingers lightly, and the destructive lotus in his hand immediately started to rotate at high speed, and after a while, it turned into a fire beam and shot out. "One Hun bone armor," Xiao Yan said today. "I want to see if the lotus you were praised by the incompetent can break my one Hun bone armor." The black skull suddenly raised its head and stared at the lotus coming from the sky, and its old voice echoed in the sky. The destructive lotus finally collided violently with the huge bone armor in front of everyone. In the moment of the collision, the world first fell into silence, and then a shocking explosion sounded in the air, and a huge flame storm swept out from the center of the explosion. At this time, everyone's faces all showed a touch of paleness, and Xiao Yan's power at the peak of the 9-turn Do Zun could actually launch such a terrifying attack. Even the ordinary intermediate heavenly rank Do technique could not match it. The destructive flame storm filled the sky, and the huge celestial phoenix phantom flying in the sky was also impacted, and its body trembled violently and finally burst into nothingness. The celestial phoenix phantom was shattered, and Jufeng directly spat out a mouthful of blood, obviously affected by a very strong impact. Xiao Yan stood in the high sky, gazing at the spectacular flame storm, but his expression was not relaxed at all. This was his first time fighting with a half-saint level strongman. Although the destructive lotus was powerful, he knew that the half-saint was strong. If they fell so easily, it would be too small to look down on the strength of the saint-level strongman. Under the gaze of Xiao Yan and the crowd, the raging flame storm in the sky finally began to weaken gradually. As the storm dissipated, a huge black skull reappeared in everyone's sight, and it actually withstood it. Seeing the still-standing black skull, the strong men of the Soul clan showed a look of ecstasy, while others were depressed in their hearts. Such a fierce attack did not even hurt them. Is the half-saint really strong to this extent? A slight crack came from the surface of the black skull standing in the sky, and then a piece of broken bone armor fell in front of everyone's stunned eyes. As the first piece of bone armor fell, more and more pieces of armor began to fall like snowflakes, and the huge body of the black skull quickly appeared cracks, and finally the huge bone armor exploded into countless bone fragments and flew away. The ecstasy in the eyes of the Soul clan suddenly solidified, and when the skull turned to ashes, the Guyu's body, which was motionless in the distance, suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face was as pale as paper. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Guyu slowly raised his head and said, "Very good, Xiao Yan. You really have some ability, but even if you can make me seriously injured, I can still take your little life." Before Guyu's voice fell, a golden lightning-like light suddenly appeared in front of him, like a golden fist made of gold, with fierce momentum, fiercely hitting Guyu's head. Faced with this sudden attack, Guyu was stunned, but he quickly reacted, enduring the pain in his body, and his withered palm quickly swung out, and then collided heavily with the huge golden fist. When the two collided, the golden figure was forced to retreat more than a dozen steps, and there was also a half-inch deep palm print on the golden fist. Although Guyu was shaken back a step, he quickly stabilized his figure and stared at the golden figure in front of him with a pair of cold eyes. "If you want to kill me, you are not qualified." With his eyesight, he could naturally recognize that it was Xiao Yan who had performed a certain Do technique. Guyu's face was a bit fierce, and he said, "Since you have already displayed your proud lotus, then follow me next." He never thought that he would be seriously injured by a younger generation. As soon as his voice fell, Guyu's huge palm suddenly grabbed at Xiao Yan, and a black big hand suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Yan, fiercely grabbing down at the golden giant that he had turned into. However, just as the black giant hand was about to grab Xiao Yan, the space next to it fluctuated, and then a spatial crack quickly appeared, and a familiar and old figure slowly walked out from it, and a faint voice also spread in the air. "Guyu, with your seniority, to attack a younger generation, don't you feel ashamed?" Looking at the suddenly appearing old figure, Guyu was stunned, and this old figure was the Yao Lao. Xiao Yan was also stunned by the sudden appearance of Yao Lao, because he had not yet crushed the spatial scroll that Yao Lao had given him. Yao Lao hovered in front of Xiao Yan and said with a smile, "You have been in the ancient wild territory for too long. I was a bit worried. so I found a time to come and have a look. I didn't expect to meet it just now." After glancing at the latter, he was satisfied and exclaimed, "Just a few months, and your strength has improved again, which is beyond my expectation." Then Yao Lao's gaze turned to Gu Yu, and he said slowly, "You are also quite famous in the Central Plains, but today you can do such shameless things. Bullying younger generations is not a skill. Why don't we two try?" Hearing this, Gu Yu's face suddenly changed. He and Yao Lao are both half-saint level strong men. If they are in their peak state, the victory or defeat is still unknown. But with his current state, the probability of fighting against Yao Lao is not more than 30%. Although Gu Yu knew he was not a match, he still did not want to show weakness and sneered, "Yao Chun, don't be arrogant in front of me. The strong men of my soul clan are not comparable to your falling star pavilion." However, before Gu Yu's voice fell, Suner and the others quickly flew behind Yao Chun. "If we want to compare the number of people, our Gu clan is not afraid of you." Then a spatial scroll appeared in Suner's hand and was quickly crushed. An old man came out of the space and said, "I didn't expect it to be so lively here." This old man is the Tongxian elder he met in the realm of Gu. Smiling at Xiao Yan, "Hee, Xiao Yan, we meet again." Then he turned to Yao Chun and said with a smile, "This must be the Yao Zun who was once famous in the Central Plains, right? Hee, now it might be more appropriate to call you the Pill Saint." In response to Tongxian elder's words, Yao Chun also arched his hands, smiled and said a few polite words. After Tongxian elder and Xiao Yan and others greeted, Gu Qingyang quietly reported to him what had happened here. "The Soul Clan is getting more and more arrogant now." After listening to Gu Qingyang's words, Tongxian elder frowned slightly and stared at Gu Yu. And Gu Yu, under the gaze of Tongxian elder and Yao Chun, these two half-saint level strong men, seemed a bit uncomfortable. Facing the falling star pavilion, he could rely on the power of the Soul Clan. But facing the Gu clan, he had to hold back a bit. At this time, the Soul Clan strong men led by the Soul King also flew behind Gu Yu. "Do we need to summon the strong men of the clan again?" Hearing this, Gu Yu frowned, then took a light breath and said, "Let's retreat. The people of the Gu clan are also here. If we summon the strong men again, they will definitely do the same." Then he didn't say much more, glanced at Xiao Yan with a fierce look, turned around and took the lead in rushing out of the ancient wild territory. Watching the figures of the Soul Clan leaving in a hurry, the people of the Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan also didn't dare to stay any longer and hurriedly followed. Looking at those rapidly disappearing figures, Tongxian elder said, "Since the matter of the Bodhi ancient tree has been settled, we should also hurry back to the realm of Gu. It's not easy to let Suner come out this time. I'm afraid those old guys will keep urging." Hearing this, a trace of reluctance flashed in Suner's beautiful eyes. She knew that before reaching the Do Saint, the elders of the clan would not be at ease for her to stay outside for too long. Then she turned to Xiao Yan and reminded, "Brother Xiao Yan, be careful when you are outside." Xiao Yan nodded gently. Beside, Tongxian elder said, "It's getting late. We should start." Then Tongxian elder saluted Yao Chun and said, "See you later." Then he quickly disappeared from the sky with Suner and others. And Xiao Yan and others did not stay much longer. After returning to the Falling Star Pavilion, Xiao Yan did not immediately refine the Bodhi heart. He knew that this matter was very important to himself and could not have any mistakes. With such a mindset, Xiao Yan has been working hard in the following month, waiting for himself to reach the peak state. During Xiao Yan's patient waiting to enter the best state, Yao Chun went out for half a month. When he appeared in front of Xiao Yan with a tired face again, he handed over a jade box. Xiao Yan took it, carefully opened it, and found that there was a little squirrel with a green body inside. "Is this the Bodhi pill?" Xiao Yan stared at the little squirrel for a while before looking up with some confusion. Yao Chun smiled and nodded. Looking at Yao Chun's old face, Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel excited. It turned out that he had disappeared for half a month in order to find a suitable place to refine this Bodhi pill. "Teacher, thank you," said Xiao Yan. Yao Chun smiled and shook his head to comfort. Hee, between teachers and apprentices, there is no need to say these. You just close the door in peace. The affairs of the Falling Star Pavilion and the Yin Alliance will be handled by me. Your most important task now is to reach the Half-Saint realm as soon as possible, otherwise, When the pure lotus demon flame appears in 3 years, you will definitely not have the ability to subdue it. Hearing this, Xiao Yan nodded, hesitated for a moment, and suddenly took out a jade bottle from the storage ring. Teacher, this is the soul of Han Feng. No matter what, he needs to be dealt with by you. Xiao Yan handed the jade bottle to Yao Chun and said softly. Hearing this, Yao Chin's old face was slightly stunned, and then his complicated gaze was fixed on the jade bottle, with a trace of sadness in his eyes. After all, he regarded Han Feng as his own, raised him from an abandoned orphan, and taught him all the skills. Yao Chun took the jade bottle with a trembling hand, without saying a word, just slowly nodded. Looking at the old man in front of him, who suddenly looked desolate and increasingly old, Xiao Yan felt a burst of sourness. A Buddhist robe knelt on the ground with both knees, and he kowtowed heavily twice, and said in a deep voice, Teacher, I have taught and cultivated the grace. You are my teacher like my father. The humiliation and pain the teacher has suffered in the past, the disciple will surely repay in the future. Seeing Xiao Yan's action, Yao Qin was stunned, and hurriedly stepped forward to help, but before he could do anything, Kailin also knelt down closely behind Xiao Yan. Now as Xiao Yan's wife, Xiao Yan regards Yao Qin as a father, and she naturally does the same. You little guy. Yao Qin helplessly shook his head, but his eyes were filled with tears. Xiao Xiao looked at Yao Chun with her big black and bright eyes like a gem, and her crisp voice made everyone present smile. After listening, Yao Qin couldn't help but smile, and quickly took Xiao Xiao from Kai Lin's arms, turned to Xiao Yan and said with a smile, Get up quickly. I am an old guy who is just thinking about things for a while. Could it be that I am still worried about doing something silly? After hearing this, Xiao Yan also laughed, holding the jade box and looking at the huge stone secret room hidden in the mountain behind. It's about time. I should go in. This time the time of closing the door is probably not too short. During this period, you all listen to the teacher. Hearing this, Kailin and Xiao Xian and others also nodded slightly. Teacher, take care. Then, Xiao Yan did not hesitate, and walked slowly towards the thick stone door under the gaze of everyone. However, no one ever thought that this so-called short time was actually 2 years. As time passed, the huge stone door where Xiao Yan closed the door was covered by lush green grass, and the door was also covered with moss. During Xiao Yan's closed-door period, the central plains were quite turbulent. The revenge of the Soul Hall did not come so early, so the Falling Star Pavilion also seized the time to grow stronger. After the news that Yao Chun could refine the Bodhi pill was spread, many of the top Dozun strong men could not help but secretly join and became guest elders. For these guest elders who came for the reputation, Yao Chun naturally could not give them the Bodhi pill as soon as they met. And these strong men are not stupid. They also understand that there is no such good thing in the world. So they usually work hard for the Falling Star Pavilion, hoping to win Yao Chun's trust and obtain the Bodhi pill to achieve the breakthrough they have been dreaming of. In this virtuous cycle, the strength of the Falling Star Pavilion is undoubtedly rapidly improving, and it has gradually become a powerful existence that is not inferior to the old forces such as the Heavenly Abyss sect in the Central Plains. Faced with the rapid growth of the Falling Star Pavilion's reputation and strength, the Heavenly Abyss sect, which had a grudge with Xiao Yan, gradually felt uneasy. The Falling Star Pavilion had a limited scope of power before, and there was no big problem between the two. But as the power of the Falling Star Pavilion expanded, it eventually met the scope of the Heavenly Abyss sect, and the conflict was inevitable. After a period of contention, both sides were evenly matched, and neither could do anything about it. However, this stalemate did not last long before it was broken. The Heavenly Abyss sect announced that it had formed the Abyss River Alliance with the Ice River Valley, the Wind Lightning Pavilion, and other well-known sects in the Central Plains. In response, the Falling Star Pavilion was caught off guard, and its sphere of influence was somewhat contracted, but Yao Qian and others were not panicked. The Falling Star Pavilion developed too quickly, and although the power was extensive, it was not stable. This conflict was actually an opportunity for rectification. As the defensive line of the Falling Star Pavilion retreated, the defense forces of some cities behind it became stronger and stronger. Coupled with the space wormholes built by the guest elders in the cities, the important cities were directly connected, forming an impregnable defensive line. After a few months of stalemate, the Abyss River Alliance also had to give up the continued occupation and gradually retreated. With the temporary end of this war, the reputation of the Falling Star Pavilion once again resounded throughout the Central Plains, and it was rare in the Central Plains to be able to stand alone against the alliance of forces such as the Heavenly Abyss Sect and the Ice River Valley. After the Great War, the Central Plains returned to a brief period of calm, but this tranquility did not last long. A piece of news suddenly caused a sensation. The protagonist of this news is one of the 8 ancient clans, the Ling clan. When Xiao Yan returned from the Heavenly Tomb, he knew that the Ling clan's space had suddenly closed, but at that time, this news was only circulated among the major forces and did not spread out. However, not long ago, a strong person found that the Ling clan's space had been reopened. When these strong people went to investigate, they saw that the spirit world was desolate, and even the residents of the Ling clan had disappeared without a trace. Faced with this empty and lifeless space, the strong people were all shocked and suddenly felt a chill in their hearts. The population in the spirit world is at least 1 million, but now it has disappeared inexplicably. The disappearance of the Ling clan is confusing to outsiders, but the ancient races have their own speculations. A long time ago, the 8 ancient clans had a great war over the Tuasha ancient Emperor Jade. The last Do Emperor's legacy is said to contain the secret to reach the realm of Do Emperor. For this secret, the 8 clans fought fiercely at that time, and finally divided the complete Tuasha ancient Emperor Jade into 8 pieces. If you want to get the legacy of Tuasha ancient Emperor, you must collect 8 pieces of ancient jade. Each clan regards the ancient jade as more important than life, and will not easily give it up. Therefore, some people speculate that the disappearance of the Ling clan may be the act of a certain clan among the ancient races, in order to seize the piece of Tuasha ancient Emperor Jade in the hands of the Ling clan. Among the existing 6 clans, only the Gu clan and the Soul clan may be able to do this. Faced with this groundless suspicion, the Gu clan is quite displeased. But they also realize the seriousness of the situation. At this moment, any action may cause unnecessary suspicion, so they chose to remain silent. At the same time, the Soul clan is still their consistent style, turning a deaf ear to the thoughts of others. In the silence of both sides, the issue of the Ling clan's change gradually faded out of people's sight. With the endless wonderful stories in the Central Plains, Xiao Yan's closed-door cultivation has been approaching 2 years. On a small hill, Yao Chen gazed at the stone door covered with moss not far away. Soon after, a stream of light quickly appeared behind him, which was Kai Lin. In these 2 years, she has spent most of her time staying in the Falling Star Pavilion, and Yao Chen has spared no effort in refining the pills that are very beneficial to her, making Kai Lin promoted from a 5-star Do Zun to the peak of Do Zun in 2 years. Such progress is very fast for her. Yao Chen turned his head and noticed Kai Lin's slightly heavy expression, and asked in surprise, "What's the matter?" Hearing this, Kai Lin took out a blood-red post from the storage ring. This is sent by the Abyss River Alliance. Yao Chen frowned slightly, took the post, unfolded it, and saw the dark red big characters, War Post. Seeing this, a sneer flashed across Yao Chen's face, and his eyes looked down. Half a month later, the strong men of the Abyss River Alliance will gather at the Falling Star Pavilion, and the winner will be the king and the loser will be the bandit. Seeing this, Yao Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, sneered, "Dare to take the initiative to challenge my Falling Star Pavilion. It is really a very arrogant tone." It seems that the old demon of the heavenly abyss seems to be in a hurry. Kai Lin pondered. The Abyss River Alliance has been calm for more than a year, and now suddenly sends a war post and takes the initiative to arrange the war at the Falling Star Pavilion. They must have some support. Hearing this, Yao Chen nodded gently. Since the Falling Star Pavilion and the Abyss River Alliance fought a year ago, the other party has not taken any big actions. He knew that these people were not unwilling but afraid. After all, his half-do sheng power is not a decoration. Yao Chen stroked the war post in his hand and said in a deep voice, "This time they dare to take the initiative to send a war post and choose the headquarters of the Falling Star Pavilion as the home court. There must be a problem. Call back all the elders who are scattered outside and have no important tasks, and at the same time order the elders guarding the important cities to be vigilant and guard against the Abyss River Alliance's surprise attack." In addition, send scouts to investigate the internal dynamics of the Abyss River Alliance. We must understand why they suddenly become so bold. Kai Lin nodded gently, and she had issued some of these instructions when she received the war post. After 2 years of performance, she is now highly regarded in the Falling Star Pavilion. During this time, the Star World has also raised the alert to the highest level. Yao Chen sneered, "I want to see what the old demon of the heavenly abyss wants to do this time." Then she couldn't help but look at the closed stone door in the distance and asked in a low voice, "Has he still not made a move?" Yao Chen replied, "Don't worry. According to my estimate, he should be able to come out smoothly soon. Let's go. We still have a lot to prepare." Yao Chen waved his hand, then turned around and walked away slowly. Kai Lin looked at the stone door for a moment, sighed lightly, and left. However, no one noticed that shortly after they left, the huge stone door covered with moss suddenly vibrated, and a thin crack quietly appeared on its surface.